Right, my dad came from Dungarvan. My ma came from Tipperary. Most of my oldest family were born up in a place called Wheelbarrow Lane off of Wetland Street. I was born up in Keynes Road, the top of the town as it's known as. And a few years I ended up in an industrial school. Came out of that.
Sorry, was this up in Clonmel?
Yeah.
Okay, could you tell us a little bit about that? Because a lot of people nowadays have a clue what you're talking about. So tell us a little bit about that.
What, about the school?
Yeah, but even how did you end up there? Was it because you were rich with school or something?
No, it wasn't. My mother and my aunt, her sister, we were living in Dublin at the time with them. They fell out and all hell broke loose. So myself and my two oldest brothers ended up in Clonmel. And there's 3 or 4 or 5 sisters, well, at least 3 in the Good Shepherd Convent, the Magdalen Laundries as it was called. And back then, if you stepped out of line, you got a beating, and I mean a beating. Then we used to grow their own spuds, their own veg and everything. Then you used to be hired out to farmers, or I won't mention the company, but it's a big company in Clonmel, picking apples and grapes and stuff for them. And you still got the living daylights kicked out of us.
Cheap labour.
Cheap labour. We got nothing. All we got was the baiting. And then I came back here in 1970.
I'm sorry, Francie, what age were you when you were up there in Clonmel?
I went in at 8. I came out at 16.
Wow, 8 years.
Spent 8 years in it for nothing. Never broke a law.
That's terrible.
And as I said, I was there. It was actually one chap, I think it was, 4, maybe 5 years of age, died in the school on the dorm that I was in. There was over 120 of us on one dorm. And if you stood there the line, as I said, boom, you got a baiting. Same in the convent. I came home back in 70. My younger sister was in the school. A chap ran up to me. Your sister's getting bet down in the convent. I went down, stuck into the 2 nuns that was beating her. The Gardaí were halt. I walked out. I turned around and said, I'm telling you now, you lay your hand on my family again, I said. It's bye-bye. And the cop said, what do you mean? It's bye-bye, I said. If they ever touch them again, I said, they will pay. So I ended up walking the docks here then at 16. Making a few bob here, making a few bob there. The north side docks was all cargo ships, which is where the railway station is. And then you had the Fourth Wharf, which is across from, I used to know it as the Bridge Hotel. It's called Tracy's now. That was the Fourth Wharf. There was two cranes there. Then we went down this side by the GPO. We had the Waterford Maritime Container Company. We had the Clyde Shipping Company. And then we had, below that then, at the back of the Tower Hotel, was British Rail. That's where we used to hold the cattle. We used to have a cattle yard down there. We used to hold the cattle down there for ships. And that's how I got back on my feet.
work on all different?
I've done most of the boats, but one thing about me, north side were north side dockers, south side was us. Now, there was no menace until the north side dockers decided to join the Marine Port Union. They caused the rift that closed the port for 10 years, and the port is still closed. This port, when I came back into Waterford, on a good week, you could walk from the south side, north side, across ships. You wouldn't have to go over the bridge. There was that many cargo ships coming up here. There was timber, coal, fertiliser, grain, silver sand for the glass factory, cement, all bulk, brown sugar. Then you went from the bridge down where the old flour mills was. They used to get grain in, and below that then you had Belferry containers. And I used to get a job from a company, a Waterford company, every so often, go down to a place called Little Island, loading 50 kg boxes of salted sugar, or butter, into the containers, and coming back up with them for a few quid.
And the work was very busy.
It was very hard. We used to go out on a loading a livestock ship, we say tomorrow morning, just for argument's sake. We could be out in Mullinabro at 4:30, hail, rain and snow, and running 1,000 head of cattle and maybe 1,200 head of sheep behind that coming in. Back then there was no high-vis jackets, there was nothing. And we used to run them down, as I said, to the back of the Tower Hotel and separate them then, get them ready for loading onto the ships. We often worked 7 boats, 8 boats a week. And at that time, the cattle were going to Libya, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Greece, Italy, Canary Islands. I used to do the runs to Libya.
Do you actually travel?
Yeah, I travel over to Benghazi, Mitsoratza, and Tripoli. We were coming out a few years later, and that big disaster in Scotland, the Paman, we were just after leaving the port 5 hours before the planes flew in and dropped bombs. They blame the Libyans, but it could be anyone.
And when you were in Tripoli and that, did you manage to get off the boat?
You couldn't go anywhere because you couldn't drink. So there was no shops, just a port, not like here. You got up a ship here, you had the pubs along the quayside here. You had them over the north side as well. They're all gone.
And speaking of the pubs, like, I heard before that sometimes you get paid in the pubs for the job.
That'd be, now, my job, we never got paid in the pub. But I know for a fact the Northside Dockers did. He used to go into a pub called Lurnigan's on the quay there, just below the Bridge Hotel there. I seen him getting paid in there.
And then the pubs obviously used to open very early in the mornings with the dockers, didn't
They used to open, Morris Lurnigan had what they call an early hour. He used to open at 7. And there's another pub on the quay, your favourite, Mr. Jordan. He used to open at 7 o'clock. They were the only 2 pubs on the quay of Waterford, had the early hours, because Morris Lurnigan had the B&B. So then they gave him a licence then for the North Dockers. So the South Dockers had to get one as well. You imagine going on a Monday morning and you're like that, rattling the load of cattle after a weekend of drinking.
And like, that was the kind of reputation, it was hard work and then hard drinking and all that.
And that was it. Everyone made money. Everyone made money. We had averaging just loading cattle ships, right? You have a ship, say, 1,200 head of cattle, right? That took 30 dockers to load the hay and the feeding nuts. Then it took 12 hours to rovers. What we used to do was, right, there'd be 6 on the quayside and there'd be 6 inside on the ship, penning the cattle. So the crew would get a break. And the crew used to look after us. If we saw up there, here, there's a bottle of scotch, there's a bottle of vodka or whatever, or 200 fags. You know, they looked after us, so we looked after them.
And like when I was a child as well, I remember things like the chocolate crumb coming into
Yeah, it's actually, you talk about that now, that's where the chocolate crumb used to come into, where the bus station is now. There was one now, Ollie.
And where did that shit come from?
Came in from Africa or South America.
And this big cacao, where do you call it? Like big from cocoa, like the
Yeah.
chocolate. Okay.
And it used to be unloaded on the north side, drove across then in tipping trucks, and dumped in there. And then the flour mills took over that for grain and stuff.
But all the children loved that mash up in.
Aye, stop.
And like, you know, that whole thing of getting stuff off the boats, like, you know, a bottle of whiskey or a bottle of vodka and all that, or fags, was that quite common? Like, you know,
Oh yeah, I just, on my side, this side here, you done a favour, you got a favour. You know, there was no money, right? You smoke, yeah, there's 200 fags. Or you drink, there's a bottle of scotch. You know, back then when I was on the ships, 2 litre bottle of scotch, Johnny Walker's, was $6. And 200 fags was $5. So,
very cheap now, do you think?
compared to nowadays, you wouldn't even get them. You'd be lucky.
And you know the way, because we had the docks in Waterford, it made the place very kind of like interesting in the sense that there was always something going on.
There was always ships coming in, ships going out.
But it meant that the place was kind of like it wasn't like a small town.
No, it was very big.
Yeah.
You know, I was in Ross years ago, just after coming out of the industrial school, and Ross was a lot smaller, and then all of a sudden we started building up this port here. This should have been the busiest port in Ireland until the strike. That would cost everything in this port. A 10-year strike for stupid pilkidley. I'm this union, I'm that union. That's grand. Doesn't matter what union you're in. You sit down. Your union reps sit down with union reps and talk it out. They wouldn't do it. So they closed the port. I remember carriages coming up there to the north side. 6,500 tonne of coal for Morris's and Tedcastle's. And brown sugar, 8,000 tonne, maybe 10,000 tonne of brown raw sugar going up the Carlow to the sugar factories. And the timber coming in then for Graves' at the time, and Morris's. There's only one factory left now that does timber, this Morris's. The rest is closed. You can't walk into a DIY shop, I want a 12-foot plank. They look at you. Back then you could walk into Morris's or Graves's. I want that amount of timber, that length, boom, you had it.
And generally, as well, like when you had a port, there was always like the sailors coming off the ships, and they were always looking for a bit of crack or whatever.
Yeah, I know where you're going. Hey, Ollie, I'm too old now to be going that road.
But there was always kind of
Oh, yes. There was the nightclubs.
yeah, there was always kind of we say, places where you could go to meet women and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
You go with most of the pubs along the quay and you pick them up. Saks, where Tracy has it now, that used to be Keneally's grain store. Then it was turned into a nightclub. And you could go in there any night of the week. You could be 4 or 5 ships here, and you'd meet the best pleasant people in there, and you would know what they were doing. But I did, because I used to book the docks, so I knew what was coming and going.
And like in your time when you were there, like was there a lot of smuggling going on as well?
You get the odd bit of smuggling. It depends. You get the odd elite fella, hey, look, I have 4 bottles of scotch. Here, give me 20 quid. Now you're going to grab 4 bottles a litre, 2 litre bottles for 20 quid. You're going to take his hand off. I mean, Johnny Walker at the time, as I said, Johnny Walker Red was €5 for 2 litres, £5 for 2 litres. And Johnny Walker Black, 2 litre, was $6. So if someone's handing you 4 of them for 20 quid, you're going to take knuckles and all.
And were you ever tempted to go off? I know you went off with the cattle boats, right? But were you ever tempted to go off as a sailor or being the ships, like a merchant, the merchant?
No, I wouldn't do it. I came up working with livestock, and that was my livelihood. And I still do it to today. Friends of mine have horses, and Francie, look, I want to move so many. Are you free? Yeah, grand. What time? I could get a call now tonight. I need you at 7 o'clock in the morning. Where? Such a spot. I'll be there.
And just to go back, Francie, to your own family, like, the way you were all separated when you were children and you were all put into different places and all that, did you kind of become united afterwards?
Oh, we did. One thing we made a promise. We'll look after each other. And we've done it. And we're still doing it. I haven't seen family for years. But they know my phone. They have the number. I need you. I'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, because I imagine that was like, it must have been really hard for children in that situation where they couldn't see their sisters or, it must have been really hard.
Back then, I might have, when I was in Clonmel, we used to go to Woodstown for a month in the summer. And I might see him once that month. They bring him down, leave us talking, play in the Woodtown beach and stuff like that. But after that, then, boom, I wouldn't see him until next year.
Because he was a different age group to you, is that it?
It's not that there were different schools there, different rules. I'm going to mention this now, whether you put it in or not, I don't care. The Rosminkin brothers, religious orders, ran Clonmel. And they still have land in Kilkeen. And they're telling us, we came out of schools and fought for our rights. They're telling us they had no money. They sold off the farmland in Clonmel for millions, I think. At the moment now, as far as I know, the health board is owning that for a halfway house. When I was in that, we used to go down to a swimming pool, and I'll be honest with you, Charlie, I'd love to take you up there and show you. Not messing. I'd love to show you where we were. They knocked the whole old school and built a whole new gymnast, a 50-metre swimming pool, indoor swimming pool. We used to have to go down to a field that we used to call the Castle Field, and was filled with freezing water from a stream in the summertime. And half of us ended up with the dust of flu. And we were told to get up in the morning, go to the class, come out of class, go to the farm, feed the pigs, feed the cattle, sort the spuds, come down then and get the living daylights kicked out of you then, because you didn't do it right.
I mean, it was very brutal, wasn't it?
Brutal and what in the world, Ollie? I don't know how many of us survived it. I've never seen a load of my friends committing suicide. And I couldn't even go to the funerals. Why? I was ashamed. People don't understand. Or the Catholic Church and nuns done to us back there in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And I mean it, Ollie. For sometimes I wanted to choke a priest. That's it.
Francie, nobody should have gone through what you went through. And I know a lot of people did go through it, and they should never have gone through it. And I'm really sorry for that. And thanks for telling us about that, because that's really important to put out there. That's really important for people to know what it was like. Because people were children. You said you were 8 years of age going there. And the Rosminians, there were a lot of violent people and a lot of abusers.
I remember two of them. One fella was sent down out of Dundrum in Dublin for the deaf people, to the school I was in. And he was up on the balcony. I still see her ever so often, catching a boy by the 2 ears and do that to him, willing to drop him off a 40-foot drop. There was another fella came back from a place called Kilimanjaro in Africa. His nickname was Kilimanjaro. He didn't give a monkey's about you. He'd get you for no reason. He'd hit you for no reason. There was brothers there, in fairness, were great. They only hit you when the top priest at the time was there watching. He stepped there a line, so the brother come over, hit with a leather strap. Strap was that long, that thick, with coins stitched inside of him. We had to stitch him in the shoe shop in the school. We made our own baitings, the belts to bait us. People say, oh yeah, you got this, you got that. Yeah, we deserve it. But we're still carrying the scars. A young family now. I just lock myself away some days. So I wouldn't use my temper for what I went through. Wouldn't take it on them. Because if it did, I'd end up killing them. Two lovely daughters, 3 grandkids, and a son. I just had to lock myself away sometimes. And people say, they ring me. I won't even answer the phone. I could get 10, 20 calls. And the only people I'd answer to is the place down on Parnell Street, the right place. Because they know what we went through. They were in the schools. And that's it. As I said, I keep saying to the people, unless you were there, don't talk about it. And that's it. No one knows what grief, what abuse we went through. They're all about these reports. Best part of them are fucking lies. They don't talk to us, survivors. And I mean it, Ollie. They want to go through the shit that we went through. Don't understand what grief and what vengeance we have in there. No one knows that. That's why, as I said, I've seen friends committing suicide. I'm sick and tired of burying old school friends out of the school. I only buried a lad last year, 10 years younger than me, committed suicide. There's another lad who used to live in the hostel. If he was alive today, he'd be the same age as me, because he's on the same birthday. He committed suicide in the hostel in Lane. People don't know that, because they don't come out. The media, oh yeah, we do this, we do that. You give them a story, it's in the dustbin. And I blame the government, and I blame the religious orders. I don't care. I have no bones. As I said, I went through hell for 8 years. I barely say hello to a priest now. There's only one priest I say hello to. I know him since 70, Father Pat. I have great respect for him. The rest could go whistle Dixie, because I have no time for it.
We were talking earlier on about Freddy Clark.
Poor Freddy Senior.
I know, and it's very sad today that we're interviewing you and Freddy has died.
I done Thrill in the Hill.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Freddy.
Freddy, I was getting spuds one day, and Freddy said to me, I have a bit of work for you for a day or two. Ah, yeah, grand. I said, Freddy, what time? We start at 7 in the morning, he says, putting out things. Grand. I was living in my place at the time. Walked down, went into the shop. Tom was there. Where's your dad? Oh, he's upstairs. Well, look, tell him I'll call back in about 20 minutes. Thinking that he was doing something, you know, business. So, next minute I hear, come up here, you. Can I be up? You're on now. We're doing this, we're doing that, yep. And next minute, Jesus, he said, I have no power. I said, have you an extension need? I said, Jesus, I do, he says. Next minute, right there, this one, 50 metres. No. Do you know the corner of Wetland Street there is by Sue Riders? We had the running cable from the lorry over that to plug in. And he said, "Cheers, I don't have one that long." I said, "Give me a few minutes and I'll be back." Went out to my house now, and this thing now, we could have went around Ballybricken twice. And he says to me, "What? You asked for the extension lead?" "Here's one," I said. It's nearly a coil of cable. Up, bump, plugged it, and it was peeing rain the same morning. And poor Petey was on the forklift. It was about 8 pallets. And I was on the top. So that's how high we had to get. So up, plugged it in, left the holler, right, switch it on. Bump, power, lovely, closed down the box, sealed it, back down, over. Then we had the music, dancing, crack, we had the donkey races. It was a few plonkers at the time, thought they could ride a donkey full of drink. One particular fellow, I won't mention his name, said to him, "You're not getting on him." "I'm getting on him." He pushed me. And I said, "Right. Grand." Next minute, he opened the donkey. He went from here to where you are. Fell down, broke his hand. Sued Freddy.
He did not.
Sued him. And the cops even said to him, the ambulance lad said to him, "You have no hope in leg to stand on." I said to Freddy, "You're paying him that?" "I have that." "You don't." Cops done him for the breathalyzer. The ambulance lads even said that he was pissed. He fell off the donkey after I'm telling them, and the rest of us telling them not to get on him. He pushed us all away, and that's what happened. And the same fella still going around laughing. That hill, no word of a lie, should be thriving. Every year when Frederick ever done Trilling Hill, even Paddy's Day, we used to march around that, heading for the hypermarket at the time. Darby O'Gill, Little People, Robin Hood, the Vikings, and Ballybricken mobsters. There's still some of them photographs going on, Ollie. If you can get it, I think the News and Star done a feature last week, Paddy's weekend. You see most of us. You see me. You see Bobby Eva. You see a lot of the old young lads back then. Now we're all in mid-50s, early 60s, even heading 70s. You know, we go back and Bobby said, "I remember this show, remember that one?" I remember we doing Paddy's Day. Who was in it at the time? The lads from the County Waterford. The Bachelors in Trouble. The Nass and Cark. They grabbed one of the cops. We grabbed another one at the time because we were doing Ballybricken mobsters and actually handcuffed them to the steering wheel, passing a reviewing stand. You know, back then, everything was gone. Now, it's all heading safely.
But Freddy was great, though. He put his hand in his pocket to do all these things.
Yeah, it didn't cost it. It cost no one money, only Freddy. I remember after Paddy's Day, we'd go up to the showboat or one of the pubs in Ballybricken. Be there for the night, drinking and eating. And I'll still get a few bob the following day. Be passing, "Come here, you." Yeah. No word of a lie. My hand on my heart, one of the best lads I ever worked with on Trilling Hill and Paddy's Day.
No, he was a good man. And he loved water, and he loved celebrating.
He loved that. I remember Christmas Eve, he had a crib, 3-angled crib. He used to bring it in from Woodstown, myself and himself, and rig it up, put it together. That crib is up in one of the homes in Mooncoin now. He donated it to him since he couldn't put it up there anymore. He had the crib up there a few years ago. Went up the end of November. I didn't come down until, what was it? 6 months after Christmas. They had to actually dig out the foundation, it was that bad, and re-soil it. There's nothing on Ballybrickin. They put a Christmas tree up the last 2 years, 3 years. No what's on it? Nothing. They put lights on it, never turned on the lights. Now, can I take a break because I need to have a piddle?
Oh yeah, well we're going to stop now anyway, Francie, and is that okay?
Well, look, I'll come back now.
No, we're fine, because there's another fella coming in the tree. I was important. I just want to say, first of all, it's really difficult, because we were just talking about before you came in. We found it very difficult when we were doing this 2 years ago to get any doctors to talk to us, you know. First of all, a lot of them died, and then other ones, because of the strike, a lot of them didn't want to talk to us about different things. So it was very hard to get anyone to talk about the docs. So I just want to thank you for that, because it's really important that people, that the docs are part of our history, and we need to have that recorded. But I also didn't know about your life in the industrial school, and I just want to say that's fantastic that you spoke about, because honest to God, I just think that in 100 years' time, this will be important. And people look at this in years, when we're all gone, this kind of stuff will be important, because people don't know what it was like. So what I'm saying is that all these things are important, even though you might think they are important, but they are really important. And so thank you very much for doing the two of those things, because it's really good.
Hold on, Ollie. I just said to that gentleman there, this should be done 2 years ago, and we got this cove. So I was glad when you asked me Paddy's morning, would I do it? And I said to you that morning, it should have been done 2 years ago, I'm willing to do it. But one thing, let no one forget the brutality of the Catholic Church and the nuns of this country, and the nuns and Catholic priests all over the world. I was watching a film there about a month ago, based on a true story like mine. 4 boys were sent to an orphanage. They were beaten and raped and abused by the guards that were supposed to be protecting them. That was in the States. It happened down in Australia, it happened in New Zealand, it happened in England, it happened all over this world. The Catholic Church and that crowd, I won't use words now that I want to use, that Rome have an awful lot to answer for. They ran all the Catholic churches and nuns. Any of them should hang their head in shame for the abuse that people went through in this world. As I said, I seen friends, I seen my own sister dying over it.
Well, Francie, it's really good that you said it, and that we have it, and it'll be really important, as I said, for future generations to see, because people have a short memory. They don't remember what we've come through, and that's really important to them.
You wake up, I go to bed, we say 10 o'clock at night, You wake up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, sweating, and the fear is in your body. Waiting for someone to come in and hit you a dig. You know, I'm 66, I still wake up in the middle of the night, shaking. And I tell you, it ain't nice. And people don't believe me. But I'm telling you, my family's graves, everything I said here is true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this.
Well, thank you very much. And nobody should have to put up what you did. But I'm glad you survived it. I'm glad you came back here around to tell us the story. So,
I do my best,
thank you.
and I'll always do it, for one reason. My daughters and my grandkids. I lost a grandkid at 8 weeks old. My fourth grandchild, he was only 8 weeks old when he died. And I said to the priest, Ballybrickin, why didn't he take you, I said, or me, I said, and not well say her, I said, and leave that child. Or he do, put his hand up, as if to say, stuff you. You know, why did it take young kids starting their life? Takes like a me, a ruffian, a toe rag. Take me and leave that child. No one can answer that question.
No, none of us can.
No one. The Pope won't even answer it because he don't know.
None of us can. But you're far from a toe rag. You're not a toe rag. You're an important person.
I'm not.
You are important.
I'm just a normal human being.
Yeah, but you are important.
How am I important, Ollie, now?
Well,
Answer me that now.
because you've told a really good story and you've survived a lot. A lot of people wouldn't survive what you survived.
I had no choice.
I know, but I'm just saying that you have. So well done. And I just want to say I'm very grateful that you've let us record this.
I told you, Paddy's morning, I'll do it. I'm a fella. If I say something, I don't go back on my word. Never would, never will. As I said to you up in the bathroom, if you need to talk to me again, I'll gladly do it.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
All right.
Really appreciate that.